So many people on this channel, and some people, they may be curious, asking me the question, Jimmy, why don't you talk about or teach about reading charts, technical analysis? Why don't you talk about it? Why don't you believe about reading charts? And maybe you don't know anything about stock, or you don't know anything about cryptos. That's why you don't talk about reading charts. Well, here, this video I created for you guys. First of all, I would never talk about something that I don't personally use and I don't believe in. Reading chart is something that I personally don't believe in and I don't use it myself. Here's why. Number one is I really believe that as a long-term investor, so when it comes to investment, you have to ask yourself this question: are you the long-term investor, or are you a short-term investor? Are you a long-term investor, or are you a short-term day trader? Because I know a lot of day traders, they have different style than long-term investor. The people who invest long-term is they find disruptive company, they find unicorn, they find rare 10x or 50x or 100x cryptos, and they invest and they leave it there for a long time, okay? And they buy more when it's deep, for example, and they don't touch, okay? That's long-term investor. The people like Warren Buffett, Chamath, Cathie Wood, and Bill Ackman, for example, like that, okay? But there are day traders who buy low, sell high, they buy low, sell high, and they read in the charts. Well, so you have to ask yourself, which one are you? I am a long-term investor, so I don't really want to touch about the chart. I invest and I leave my money there. So that's the first thing. So here is the reason why I don't talk about reading chart and I don't believe into it. Number one, I think it's a really bad habit, and it's a really bad practice for a long-term investor, for someone who wants to become a genius investor, to looking at charts. That's in my personal opinion. You can disagree. Because when you look at the chart technical analysis, you look at up, down, when it's going to spike, when it's going to go down, when it's going to go up. What happened is, this is called timing the market. Because what happened is, when you look at the chart, when it's go up like this, maybe let me try to sell it right now and wait for it to dip down, and I buy more in those coins at a lower price. And let me wait for it to go up a little bit, and I buy more. I start to sell those coins and wait for it to go down and start to buy in and buy low and sell high. And you keep doing that because you believe that you can time the market perfectly, okay? So you can maximize your potential. You know what? I wish I can do this, right? Maybe you wish you can do that, right? Then you're probably gonna profit a lot, okay? Honestly, when I study about investment from the world's greatest investor of all time, like Warren Buffett, Chamath, Cathie Wood, and great investor, I ask myself this question: is this great investor, do they really know how to time the market? And do they really look at charts? The answer is no. This billionaire, they don't look at the charts and they don't really time the market. Because Warren Buffett say for the rest of his life, he never met anyone that can time the markets perfect. So what Warren Buffett, Chamath, and Cathie Wood, they do is they look for a great company and they invest into great leader in that company, and they invest in there and they hold for a long term. And when the price of the stock drop to 20–50% discount, they buy more. Let's say Tesla, when it dropped, they buy more, right? When let's say Bitcoin, it dropped down low, let's say they buy more. So number one, I say I haven't met anyone that really can time the market perfect. Okay, so I know maybe you guys like see some other channel talking about like buy low, and when it go up, sell high, and keep repeat the same thing and can predict the price of those coins. It's gonna hit to 1 cent, 2 cents, 5 cents. If you can point out to me, if anyone right now in the market, if any day trader right now, they can time the market perfect, and they can show to me, if you can prove to me that those guys can know when those coins are gonna hit to a certain amount of price, so they can buy in, and those coins are gonna spike up to a certain amount of price, and they sell, and when it go down, they buy in low and sell high. If that guy can really do it perfect most of the time, guess what happened? I would love to learn from that guy, technical analysis. And I would pay that person to learn it from them. But that person must show me his portfolio, because by the end of the day, this is the real deal thing. Normally, what I see is the day trader, they try to time the market, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. It's hard for them to beat a long-term investor like Warren Buffett, Chamath Cathy Wood, or a long-term investor who buy Tesla 5 to 7 years ago and buy and just hold, rather than buy low, sell high as a day trader by looking at the chart. If you can point out to me if any day trader they can buy low, sell high by reading the technical analysis and invest into Amazon or Bitcoin a long time ago as a day trader and can beat somebody that can just buy as a long-term investor and hold for a long time, if they can beat that person's portfolio, I would learn about technical analysis any day and pay that person, show me the person's portfolio. I couldn't find, okay? So that's my take, is timing the market is never better than time in the market. Get in the market at the early stage and just leave it there, hold it for a long time. And when Dogecoin or Bitcoin, whatever is deep, buy in more and just hold. This strategy is the strategy that I learned from the multi-billionaire, and it's proven to work most of the time, okay? The second thing in here I want to say in here is, I ask myself the question, right? Is successful entrepreneur, successful investor, do they really look at technical analysis? Do they really time the market by looking at the chart? I don't see that in Warren Buffett. I don't see that in Chamath. I don't see that in Cathy Wood. I don't see that in, multi-billionaire investor. So when I come inside the investing world, I look at great investor and try to learn their habit, their strategy, and what is the thing they do so I can duplicate. So I don't see that this great investor, they try to time the market and they look at technical analysis. So my point here is, I don't want to become a day trader, right? No offense to other day trader, because I know exactly what I try to be. It's kind of like if you want to learn about Kung Fu, you have to look at in the world right now who is best at Kung Fu. Do you want to study Shaolin Kung Fu? Do you want to study Taekwondo? Do you want to study UFC? Do you want to study wrestling? Or do you want to study boxing, right? Maybe you want to study boxing, you might want to learn from Mayweather, who knows, right? But the point I try to say in here is, when it comes to investing, you have to know your style. And you have to know what type of style works best for you. Maybe if you are a day trader, maybe day trading, looking at the chart is good for you. It could be your style. Then learn from it. Find who is the best one that know how to read charts really well. That can prove to you, they can look at the chart up and down, and it works like 80 to 90% of the time. Then maybe learn from that person. I couldn't find, okay? So that is just my take, guy. And this is the reason why I don't use the charts, and I don't look at all the technical analysis. I look at company. I look at leaders. When I invest into a company, I always ask a few things, okay? If this company is disruptive, do they have technology that really revolutionary, okay? Are they heading toward the future? And most important thing in here is, what most people who look at the technical analysis, they fall for this trap. They keep trying to time in the market, but they forget one most important thing that determines the success or the not success of the company is the leader. Because when I run the company, let's say when I run my company, for us to grow to 7-figure, 8-figure, or even more, what determines the success of the company is not the ROI, it's not the revenue, it's the leadership of the leader. Who is in the management team? Who is the leader? Because for a company to go up and down, for a company to fall, it's the leadership. So I look at the leadership is more important than look at the technical analysis, okay, as a long-term investor. So like I say, for the technical analysis, for reading the chart, for me, I never think it's really important, okay? But to me, what really important is the technology, is the leadership. Okay, those are the key that's more important. And also the last P is connecting the dot together. Successful entrepreneur, billionaire, multi-millionaire, they have the ability not just to give information, but they find pieces, and how they can look at all these pieces of information, but they can connect all of them all together really, really well that most people they cannot see. And these are the ability that I want to learn, and I want to learn from the successful people who are truly successful, like multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire. Okay, good luck guys, and always invest like a genius.